In 1962, I began working as a whisky stocks clerk for the Balvenie. In that same year, a collection of casks were filled with new make spirit. At the time, I couldn't have imagined bottling this same liquid as a malt master 60 years later, and yet here we are.
Hi everyone, my name is Kelsey McKechnie. I am Balvenie Malt Master. I wanted to send a personal message with my apologies at not being able to attend this fantastic Butcher Private Balvenie 60 event. I know you'll all have the most fantastic evening. I'm currently in our sample room. As you can tell, I've got just a few samples behind me, and I think it's worthwhile whilst I'm here to talk a little bit about what we do in this room, how we maintain the quality and the consistency, and of course around Balvenie 60. So it's in here that we do all of our quality checks. We see everything from new make, so that clear spirit as soon as it runs off the still, onto our maturing products. So once they're in their correct finishing wood, we'll sample them continually. And then we see a lot of our bottle products as well. So this room's really special because in so many respects we get to see all ends of the process. Every time there's a spirit movement, anytime we distill, all areas of spirit quality we get to see. And so it's a great place to, of course, do our nosing, but it's also a fantastic place because any time that we release a new product, a new innovation, or we're experimenting with our casks, we'll have seen it for the first time in this room. So before it's ever had a name, before it's ever a product, we find anything special in our cask inventory in this room. And that, in all honesty, was how we had found Balvenie 60. We do a lot of individual cask sampling, and so we were sampling the cask years before it had ever become Balvenie 60, and we had noticed there was something really unique and special about it. I often talk about the fact that we have our 5-year crafts, and it's the way that we make Balvenie. We don't take shortcuts, we do things the right way because we always have a view of quality in mind. Something that's so special about the 60-year-old single cask is that when it was laid down in 1962, no one would have known then it was going on to become Balvenie 60. But the fact that we have produced really high quality spirit, matured it into a really high quality cask and coopered it very, very well, so we had as few maturation losses as possible, has enabled me to be able to select it so that we can then launch it as Balvenie 60. So it's all of these parts coming together of the process that have really allowed us to innovate and release something as old as a 60-year-old. Not to mention the fact that it was in a refill European hogshead. So at 60-year-old, it would be understandable to think that something would be really intense and woody, and absolutely we get all of the beauty of oak, but we also allow the distillery character to come through. So this is the perfect complement of both of these things meeting together, that spirit and the oak. And so they work exceptionally well, and as you can imagine, maturing out over 60 years, it has a beautiful richness that speaks to Balvenie, but also showcases all of that great distillery character that it's built up maturing for 6 decades. I started Moyum Grants about 10 years ago. So I started in our lab in the Lowlands, and I used to carry out a lot of the analysis in the spirit. And at that point, the analysis that I was carrying out was to measure the flavour compounds that we were producing. And I loved being able to measure those compounds, but also pick up those flavours on the nose and the taste. I worked in Girvan for a few years. I moved over to Tullamore, where we purchased and built Tullamore Dew. I then moved up to Dufftown, and I actually lived on site. I lived in a little farm called Balvenie Mains, Balvenie Farm. And then I had noticed a position open up in the team that I currently work in, which is the stocks team, and it wasn't the apprentice Balvenie Malt Master role at the time. But I worked very closely with the casks and the spirit, and then within a year or so I was approached by David and asked if I'd like to become the apprentice malt master. And of course I had said yes. I have had the most fantastic 6-7 years in this team. We had a little silent year, but I've had the most amazing years, and you can imagine Balvenie 50 being one of the first blends that I got to work on, and obviously just last year releasing Balvenie 60. I've had the most amazing few years in an exceptional job, so I've been very, very lucky. I look forward to being out with you in the future, and I hope you have the most fantastic evening. I'm sure you will. But until then, sláinte.